Her secret power could save or destroy them. The alien girl and human's dilemma. Ethan liked the silence. After the border wars, he wanted distance from loud cities and crowded commands. The station gave him that. Only a few humans worked there, along with a small number of alien visitors who passed through. Everyone followed rules, and everyone stayed careful. On one comm cycle, a small alien transport arrived without warning. It did not send a proper code. It limped into the docking ring like a wounded animal. Alarms rang softly, not loud enough to panic, but enough to make people alert. Ethan was in the lower maintenance bay when he felt the station shake. Tools rattled on the floor. Lights dimmed for a second and came back. He sighed and wiped his hands. Another old ship, he said to himself. He climbed the ladder and moved toward the docking area. Security teams were already there. They held scanners and simple weapons, ready but not hostile. The transport door opened slowly. Smoke drifted out. First came two tall aliens with pale blue skin. They looked tired and afraid. Behind them stepped a smaller figure. She was different from the others. The alien girl moved carefully, as if the air itself might hurt her. Her skin was soft silver, and her eyes were dark and deep. She wore simple clothing, torn at the edges. Her hands shook as she held them close to her chest. Ethan felt something strange as he looked at her. The lights above flickered just for a moment. No one else seemed to notice. Security spoke with the tall aliens. They explained that their home had been destroyed. They were refugees looking for safe passage. The station commander agreed to give them time to rest and repair their ship. The alien girl stayed silent. She did not look up. Her eyes followed every movement, every sound. When a door closed nearby, she flinched. Ethan stayed near the back, watching. When the group was guided toward the medical wing, he stepped forward. "She looks scared," he said quietly to a medic nearby. The medic nodded. "They all are, but that one more than most." Later that cycle, Ethan was sent to check power readings near the guest quarters. The numbers had been unstable since the transport arrived. Nothing dangerous, just strange spikes that made no sense. As he walked down the corridor, he heard soft footsteps behind him. He turned and saw the alien girl standing a few steps away. She froze when he noticed her. Her hands tightened. "Sorry," Ethan said quickly. "I didn't mean to scare you." She studied him, unsure. Finally, she spoke in slow, basic trade language. "You work here?" "Yeah," he said. "I fix things. My name is Ethan." There was a pause, then she nodded. "I am Lyra." The lights dimmed slightly. Ethan frowned and looked at the ceiling. The system panel showed no problem. "Are you lost?" he asked. Lyra shook her head. "I feel wrong here. The walls, they hum." Ethan smiled gently. "They do that sometimes, old station." She did not smile back. "It is not the walls." A distant clang echoed through the station. Lyra gasped and stepped back. The metal railing beside her bent inward just a little, like it had been pushed by an invisible hand. Ethan stared. "Did you see that?" Lyra's eyes widened. She looked at the railing, then at her hands. Fear filled her face. "Please," she whispered, "do not tell." Ethan swallowed. His heart beat faster. He had seen strange alien tech before, but this was different. There was no device, no tool. "Okay," he said. "I won't." Lyra let out a shaky breath. The railing slowly returned to its normal shape. They stood in silence. Then footsteps approached, and Lyra moved back into the shadows. From that moment, Ethan paid more attention to her. Over the next few days, strange things happened. Doors opened without being touched. Lights flickered when Lyra walked past. Once a cracked floor panel sealed itself after she stumbled over it. Most people blamed old systems. Ethan did not. He found reasons to pass by the guest quarters. Sometimes he saw Lyra sitting alone, staring at nothing. Sometimes she paced like a trapped animal. One cycle, a small accident happened in the cargo bay. A crate slipped from a lift and fell toward a worker. Before it could hit the ground, it slowed, shaking in the air, then dropped gently to the floor. Lyra stood nearby, frozen in fear. People stared in shock. Alarms sounded. Security rushed in. Lyra ran. Ethan followed without thinking. She fled into an unused corridor near the outer hull. Her breath came fast. The lights pulsed wildly as she moved. "Lyra, wait," he called. She stopped near a viewport that showed empty space and distant stars. Tears filled her eyes. "I cannot stay," she said. "I bring danger." Ethan stepped closer, slow and careful. "You saved someone." "I lost control," she said. "That is how it starts." "Starts what?" She turned away. "My people feared me, others hunted me. Now the Empire will know where I am." The word Empire made Ethan tense. Everyone knew them. They took what they wanted and crushed what they feared. "What are you?" he asked softly. Lyra hesitated. The air around them felt heavy like pressure before a storm. "I am a conduit," she said. "I carry a force older than stars. It listens to emotion, fear, anger, hope." As she spoke, tiny sparks of light appeared around her hands, then vanished. "I never wanted it," she continued, "but it chose me." Ethan leaned against the wall, trying to understand. "Can you control it?" "Sometimes," she said. "When I am calm, when I am alone." The station lights surged bright, then returned to normal. Alarms beeped once and stopped. Ethan took a deep breath. "The station isn't safe if the Empire comes, but running alone won't help either." Lyra looked at him. "You are not afraid," he shrugged. "I am, but humans learned something in long wars. Fear does not mean stop, it means decide." She watched him closely. "Why do you help me?" Ethan thought of empty days and quiet halls. "Because someone should." A message echoed through the station. Unidentified ships had appeared near the system edge. Long-range scans showed Imperial design. Lyra's face went pale. The lights flickered harder than ever. "They are here," she said, "because of me." Ethan felt the station tremble as shields powered up. "Then we figure this out," he said, "together." Outside the viewport, dark shapes moved against the stars. The Empire had found her, and the quiet station was no longer a place where nothing happened. Lyra closed her eyes, trying to calm her racing thoughts. The air hummed softly. For a brief moment, everything was still. The Empire ships hovered near the station, huge and dark against the distant sun. Alarms blared as the crew worked to prepare defenses. Ethan checked the systems over and over, making sure the shields were ready. The humans on the station had little experience fighting a real battle, and panic was spreading. Lyra stayed in the corner of the control room, her hands pressed to her chest. The lights above flickered whenever she moved. Ethan watched her closely. He could see the fear in her eyes, and he knew this was not just ordinary fear. This was something much stronger. "They will break the shields in minutes," one of the technicians shouted. "We cannot hold them." Ethan clenched his jaw. "Maybe not," he said, "but we will try." "Stay calm, everyone, stay calm." Lyra shook her head. "I cannot, I will hurt someone." "Then don't think about hurting them," Ethan said softly. "Just focus, breathe, trust yourself." She looked at him, uncertainty in her eyes. The ships outside began firing. Lasers and energy beams hit the station, sending sparks and shouts through the halls. The shields held for now, but the station shuddered with every strike. Lyra's hands trembled, and without warning, a wave of energy exploded from her body. The lights flashed brighter than the sun, and the beams from the Empire ships froze in midair, unable to reach the station. The humans and aliens in the room gasped. Metal bent slightly where the energy brushed it, but no one was hurt. Ethan stared in shock. You did that." Lyra shook. "I didn't want to, it just happened." The waves of energy pulsed again, and several small panels in the control room bent and warped under the force. Ethan grabbed her hands to steady her. "Look at me, you are safe here. We can control it together." She closed her eyes and tried to calm herself. Sparks of light danced around her fingers and faded as she focused on breathing. Ethan stayed close, guiding her gently, even as alarms rang around them. "This power," Ethan said carefully, "it could save lives or destroy them. But you can choose how to use it." Lyra's eyes opened, wide and scared. "Choose? I am not sure I can. It is inside me, and it responds to my fear, my anger, even my hope." "Then we practice," Ethan said. "We take control. You are not alone." They spent hours in the control room, Lyra learning to slow her pulses of energy, focusing on small things, lifting a tool, moving a chair, controlling the lights. Ethan encouraged her, and slowly she began to master small movements without destroying anything. But outside, the Empire ships waited. They fired again, testing the station's defenses. The shields flickered. Alarms screamed. Ethan grabbed a nearby communicator. "We need to prepare evacuation plans," he said. "If she cannot hold them, we need to get everyone to safety." Lyra shook her head. "I will not run, I cannot." "You do not have to," Ethan said, "but you have to focus. We can stop them together." Suddenly, one of the Empire ships breached the outer perimeter. A beam hit the station directly, sending a shockwave through the halls. Crates toppled, sparks flew, and a fire started near the docking bay. Lyra gasped. Panic rose in her chest. Without thinking, she spread her hands, and a bright wave of energy shot out, stopping the fire and knocking the attacking ship backward. Alarms silenced for a moment. Everyone stared. Ethan ran to her. You see, you can do it, now control it, calm yourself. Her face was wet with tears. It is too much, she whispered. I cannot stop it when I feel afraid. Then don't stop it, Ethan said. Use it carefully, guide it. Let it protect, not destroy. Lyra's energy began to pulse with focus. The waves shot outward, not harming anyone but pushing the Empire ships away. Slowly, the firing stopped. The ships retreated just enough to give the station breathing room. The crew around them stared in amazement. Humans whispered to each other. The aliens from Lyra's group bowed slightly, showing respect. Lyra herself fell to her knees, exhausted. Ethan knelt beside her. You saved us, he said. Look at what you did. I scared them, she said quietly. And me, what if I lose control next time? Then we learn again, Ethan said. We cannot hide from what you are, it is part of you, but it is also part of your choice. Over the next cycles, Ethan and Lyra worked together. She practiced controlling her power and he taught her patience, guiding her hand, showing her how small movements could create big effects without harm. He also spoke to her about the Empire. They fear what they do not understand. They will come back, stronger. We have to be ready. Lyra looked at the stars outside the viewport. I never wanted this, why me? Maybe no one knows why, Ethan said, but humans believe even in the smallest hope, that hope it can guide you too. The station's walls hummed with quiet energy, a reminder of the power inside Lyra. She ran her fingers over a console, lifting it slightly with her mind. Ethan smiled. Small victories mattered. We need more time, Ethan said. We prepare, train, and then maybe we can leave this place before the Empire finds us again. Lyra nodded. I will try. But the Empire was not far, they would not wait long, and every day was a test. Lyra's power could save them all or destroy everything. Ethan knew the choice was hers, but he would stay, guiding her, protecting her, and showing her that humans could fight beside those they trusted, even against impossible odds. The stars outside seemed calm, but the galaxy was not. Somewhere beyond, dark ships moved, and the Empire would return. Lyra and Ethan prepared, not just to survive, but to prove that courage, trust, and careful control could change the course of their lives, and perhaps the fate of many worlds' days passed slowly on the station. Ethan and Lyra trained together, each learning more about the other. Lyra learned to calm her mind and direct her energy with control. Small sparks of light danced around her fingers without breaking walls or panels. Ethan watched every movement, guiding her patiently. Good, Ethan said one cycle. See, you can move the metal without bending it. Focus and it obeys you. Lyra nodded, though her eyes were tired. It is harder when I feel fear. I try, but it grows stronger than me. Then you must not fight it, Ethan said. Let it flow. Think of it like water. You guide it, not stop it. They spent long hours practicing, sometimes in the control room, sometimes near the docking bays where heavy machinery helped Lyra understand force. Ethan brought her small metal cubes. She lifted them, spun them in the air, and set them down gently. The crew watched in silence, amazed. Even as they trained, the threat of the Empire loomed. Scout ships patrolled nearby, probing the station's defenses. Ethan worked with the station crew to set traps and prepare shields. Every day could bring a battle, and the humans depended on Lyra's power to give them an edge. One evening, Ethan and Lyra sat near the viewport. Stars stretched endlessly, calm and distant. Lyra traced patterns on the glass with her finger. I feel different, she said quietly. I am strong, but the feeling of fear never leaves. Fear does not go away, Ethan said. Humans have lived with it forever. It teaches you, it warns you, it is also a choice. You can let it guide you or you can let it control you. Lyra looked at him. How can you be so calm? The Empire could destroy this place in minutes. I could lose control and kill everyone. Because, Ethan said, we act, we do not wait. Action makes hope stronger than fear. Lyra thought about that. She felt warmth in her chest, not fear, not anger, but something like trust. She had not felt that before. The next cycle, a human pilot arrived unexpectedly in a small shuttle. Lucas Brown was his name, and he carried news from nearby colonies. He brought supplies and warned that Imperial fleets were gathering at the system edge. Ethan introduced him to Lyra. Lucas studied her carefully. You are the girl causing trouble for the Empire, he said bluntly. They want you dead or captured. Lyra flinched. They will come here. Yes, Ethan said, and we will be ready, but you are learning control. That is why they fear you. Lyra looked at Ethan. I do not want to hurt anyone. I only want to survive. Then we survive, Ethan said. Together, you, me, and those who trust you. They worked with Lucas and Emma Lewis, the medic, to prepare defenses and plan escape routes. The station was old, but it had hidden corridors, emergency pods, and storage bays that could be turned into barriers. Ethan guided Lyra through every passage, showing her how to use her power without harming anyone. During one practice, Lyra lifted several crates at once. She could feel their weight, the resistance, the strain. Ethan encouraged her to let the energy flow. She did, and the crates floated gently to the floor. The crew clapped quietly, impressed and relieved. "See," Ethan said, smiling, "you are learning control is stronger than fear." But Lyra still had doubts. At night, she stayed awake, thinking about the Empire and what would happen if she lost control. Her thoughts were dark, filled with visions of destruction. She clenched her hands, trying to hold the fear in check. Ethan noticed her restlessness and stayed near her quarters. "Talk to me," he said softly. "Do not hold it inside." "If I lose control," she whispered, "I could destroy everything. The Empire could capture me or worse, kill me." "Then we prepare," Ethan said. "We do not wait for the worst. We act before it comes. You have power, yes. But power with guidance is hope." She looked at him and slowly nodded. The words gave her comfort, not certainty, but comfort. She felt human in a way she never had before, like someone finally believed in her choice. One cycle, a scout ship broke through the system's edge defenses. Alarms blared. Ethan ran to the control room, Lyra following. The Empire ship fired at the station, but Lyra's hands glowed with light. She closed her eyes, breathed deeply, and focused. The energy pulsed outward, stopping the beams before they hit the hull. The humans watched in awe. Some whispered that she was more than human, more than alien. She was something in between, something new. "You see," Ethan said, "you are learning control. You can protect without hurting." Lyra's chest rose and fell. She felt exhausted but alive. "It is tiring," she said, "but I do not feel fear now." "That is because you acted," Ethan said. "Fear cannot guide you if you choose action instead." Over the next cycles, Ethan, Lyra, Lucas, and Emma formed a small team. They trained together, preparing for the Empire's inevitable return. Lyra learned to control bursts of energy, to lift objects, to guide force without harm. She even learned to sense danger before it arrived, subtle vibrations in the air, tiny hums she could read. But the Empire's shadow grew closer. Their fleets moved in the distance, probing for weak points. Ethan knew it would not be long before a real attack came, stronger than any simulation. The station's small crew could not defend alone. They would need Lyra's full power and her trust in humans. One quiet moment, Ethan and Lyra sat in the docking bay, watching the stars. She rested her head on his shoulder. "Do you think they will kill me?" she asked softly. "I do not know," Ethan said. "But I do know one thing. We fight together, we make choices, and no one has the right to take that from you." Her hand touched his, and for the first time she felt something different. Not fear, not anger, but hope. Small, fragile, but real. She realized that if she trusted humans, they could survive, maybe even change the Empire's mind. The next cycle, small skirmishes began at the edge of the system. The Empire sent drones and minor patrols to test defenses. Lyra controlled her powers with precision, stopping attacks without harming ships unnecessarily. Ethan guided her every step, careful not to let her push too far. Each success built confidence. Lyra began to believe she could protect others without destroying them. She smiled quietly when a crate floated gently back into place or a door sealed itself perfectly after an accident. Every small victory was proof that her fear could be guided into strength. But even with hope, the Empire's presence was a constant shadow. Ethan warned her, "They will not stop. The next wave will be bigger. We must be ready. You must be ready." Lyra looked at him, determination shining in her silver eyes. "I will not run," she said. "I will protect, and I will learn to control it completely." Ethan nodded. "Then we train harder, every day. Until the Empire comes, we are ready, not just to survive, but to fight and win." Together, they worked late into cycles, preparing, practicing, trusting each other. Ethan knew the bond they formed was more than survival. It was the start of something new, trust between human and alien, courage born from fear, and a power that could change the galaxy. Lyra no longer felt like a weapon. She was a protector, a student of control, a girl learning to guide the force inside her. Ethan knew the real challenge had not yet come. The Empire would strike, and then her choice would matter more than ever. But for now, they trained, prepared, and learned to trust. And in that trust, the first seeds of hope began to grow. The Empire did not wait long. Their fleet appeared at the system edge, dark and huge against the stars. Ethan and Lyra watched from the viewport as dozens of ships moved in formation, scanning for the station. Alarms rang through the corridors, and the crew scrambled to positions. Fear and tension filled the air. Lyra's hands trembled, but she held them close to her chest. Ethan came to her side. "Focus," he said. "Breathe. We know what they are. We can handle this together." "I am afraid," Lyra whispered. "I do not want to hurt anyone, but they will not stop." "Then we protect them," Ethan said firmly. "You control it. I will guide you." The first ship fired. Energy beams struck the station's outer walls. Sparks flew and alarms screamed. Shields glowed bright, absorbing the impact. Lyra's eyes widened. She felt the energy building inside her. Her fear made it stronger, and she could feel it wanting to explode. "Lyra," Ethan shouted, taking her hand. "Do not fight it, guide it." She closed her eyes, focusing on the small, calm spot Ethan had taught her to find. The energy pulsed from her, forming a protective wave around the station. The attacking beams slowed and stopped before reaching the walls. The station shuddered under the pressure, but no one was hurt. "Good," Ethan said. "You are doing it. Keep control." Lyra nodded, tears in her eyes. Her body glowed softly as she guided the energy outward. The Empire ships hesitated, confused by the invisible force blocking them. "They will regroup," Lucas called over the communicator. "More ships are coming from the rear." Ethan turned to the crew. "Prepare the docking bays and emergency pods. If they breach us, we evacuate. Lyra, can you hold the back perimeter?" Lyra swallowed hard. I can try." She moved to the docking area. The Empire ships fired again. This time, beams struck the floor, sending sparks and debris into the air. Lyra raised her hands. The energy flared around her, pushing the beams aside. She felt the power shaking inside her, responding to her fear. She closed her eyes and focused. The waves of energy slowed and stopped, shielding the crew. A small explosion rocked the outer hull. Ethan ran to check. A part of the station was damaged, but no one was hurt. "Good," he said to the crew. "Stay calm. We are not defeated." The Empire fleet shifted formation. A larger ship moved closer to the station, firing multiple beams at once. The shields began to flicker. Lyra felt panic rising. The energy inside her surged, uncontrolled, ready to burst. "Lyra," Ethan shouted, rushing to her. "Look at me." "Control it. Remember the calm spot." She took a deep breath, centering herself. The energy pulsed around her hands like waves on a stormy sea. Slowly, she guided it outward, absorbing the enemy fire, redirecting it away from the station. The beams bent and broke apart before touching anything. "You are doing it," Ethan yelled. "Focus, breathe, guide it." The Empire ship fired again, but this time Lyra was ready. She lifted the energy, forming a wall between the station and the ship. The ship's beams collided with the energy wall and bounced back. Sparks flew, metal bent, but the station held. The humans cheered, amazed at the display. Lyra's chest heaved. Sweat ran down her face. "It is too much," she whispered. "I cannot hold it for long." "Then act in bursts," Ethan said. "Small, controlled bursts. Guide the power, do not fight it." She did, releasing the energy in controlled waves. Each wave blocked a new attack. Her fear threatened to break through, but she remembered Ethan's words. Fear was not weakness. It was a signal. She could act despite it. The battle continued for hours. Empire ships attacked from multiple angles. Lyra used bursts of energy to protect corridors, docking bays, and living quarters. The crew worked with her, reinforcing walls, guiding injured people to safety. Ethan stayed close, giving instructions, steadying her when the energy surged too much. At one point, a group of smaller ships broke through the perimeter and aimed for the crew quarters. Lyra's energy flared instinctively. She pushed outward, sending the ships tumbling backward, harmless but defeated. She collapsed on the floor, exhausted. Ethan caught her, holding her upright. "You are amazing," he said. "Look at what you did. No one is hurt." "You are in control." Lyra shook her head. "I am scared. If I lose control, then I will be here," Ethan said. "We are in this together. No one faces it alone." The Empire noticed the unexpected resistance. They had not anticipated a single alien girl controlling such power with precision. Their attack slowed, hesitation showing in their formation. The fleet commander ordered a retreat, at least temporarily, realizing the station's defense was stronger than expected. Lucas and Emma worked to repair damages and reinforce walls. The crew moved quickly, inspired by Lyra's courage. The station was battered but safe. Lyra sat quietly, trying to catch her breath, her hands glowing faintly even as her energy settled. "You held them off," Ethan said softly. "You controlled your power, that is more than anyone expected." Lyra looked at him, tears streaking her face. "I was afraid, so afraid." "That is why you were strong," Ethan said. "Courage is acting even when you are afraid." Today you chose courage. The crew gathered around, offering gratitude and quiet admiration. The alien refugees from Lyra's group bowed slightly, showing respect for her. She smiled faintly, exhausted but proud. "We must prepare," Ethan said. "They will return stronger." "Next time we may not get a warning," Lyra nodded. "I understand. I will train harder. I will control it fully." Over the next cycles, Ethan and Lyra worked even harder. She learned to sense danger before it arrived, to direct energy precisely, and to stay calm even under extreme pressure. Lucas helped with tactics, teaching the crew ways to use the station to their advantage. Emma trained them in first aid, ensuring injuries could be handled quickly. One night, Lyra and Ethan stood at the viewport, looking at the retreating Empire ships. The stars were quiet, but their minds were not. "Next time they will come in full force," Ethan said. "We must be ready, and we must trust each other completely," Lyra nodded. "I trust you. I trust humans." "Good," Ethan said, "because that trust is stronger than any weapon. Together we can face them and we can survive." She closed her eyes, feeling the energy inside her settle. The fear was still there, but it no longer controlled her. She was learning, growing, and choosing her path. The Empire's fleet remained at the system edge, a dark threat on the horizon. But Lyra, Ethan, and the crew of the station had faced the impossible and survived. And in that survival they found strength, courage, and hope. The real battle was coming, and Lyra knew she would have to act again. But this time she would not be afraid to choose. She would protect, guide, and fight, not as a weapon, but as a protector of those she trusted. The stars outside seemed calm, but everyone on the station knew the Empire would return. Lyra and Ethan prepared, training, planning, and learning. Their bond grew stronger, and with it, the hope that even in the face of overwhelming power, careful control, trust, and courage could turn fear into victory. The Empire returned, larger and more prepared than before. Dozens of massive ships filled the edge of the system, their weapons glowing red in the darkness. The station crew was ready, but tension ran high. Ethan stood at the control console, checking shields and energy systems. Every face around him was tense. Lyra stood beside him, her hands glowing faintly. She had trained for this moment, but the weight of her responsibility pressed heavily on her. Every person in the station depended on her control, her courage. She could feel the power inside her, strong and restless. "They will not hold back," Ethan said quietly. "But neither will we. Remember everything we practiced. Small bursts, calm focus, guiding the energy. We do not fight with anger, only purpose." Lyra nodded. She breathed deeply, centering herself. The hum of the station seemed to synchronize with her heartbeat. Fear was there, but it no longer ruled her. She could feel hope alongside it. The first wave of Empire ships fired. Energy beams struck the station's shields. The hull shuddered. Lyra raised her hands and energy pulsed outward, deflecting the beams. Sparks flew and alarms screamed. Crew members ran to secure equipment and evacuate damaged sections, following plans Ethan had drilled into them for days. "Good, keep it steady," Ethan shouted. "Guide the energy, small, controlled bursts," Lyra focused. She lifted debris that fell from the corridors, gently setting it aside. She absorbed the energy from incoming beams, redirecting it outward harmlessly. The Empire ships hesitated. They had expected fear and chaos, but instead they faced calm control. "Their formation is breaking," Lucas called over the communicator. "They did not expect her power to be used like this." Lyra felt a surge of confidence. She guided the energy with precision, pushing the fleet back from the station. Small bursts of force moved the ships without destroying them. She realized she could protect without harming. The fear inside her weakened. Purpose grew stronger. One of the Empire's larger ships broke through the outer perimeter. It fired a concentrated beam at the station. Lyra's hands flared with light. She formed a wall of energy that met the beam. The hull groaned, metal bending slightly, but the station held. The crew watched in awe. "Keep it steady," Ethan yelled. "Do not let fear control you." Lyra closed her eyes. She imagined calm water flowing and bending with her will. The energy wall pulsed, absorbing the attack and reflecting it harmlessly into space. The ship shook as its weapon lost force against her control. It retreated slightly. "You are doing it," Ethan shouted. "Keep going, guide it, protect them." The station crew reinforced walls and evacuated injured personnel. Emma tended to small fires and minor injuries, her calm presence helping everyone stay focused. Lucas coordinated defense tactics, moving people and resources where they were needed. The Empire's fleet was disoriented. They expected a frightened station and a helpless girl. Instead, they faced precise control, calm strategy, and unexpected resistance. Their attacks slowed, hesitation spreading among their commanders. Lyra felt her energy settle, flowing smoothly. She guided beams away, lifted heavy debris, and reinforced damaged sections. Each movement was careful, controlled, purposeful. She was no longer afraid to act. Fear existed, but it guided her focus instead of breaking it. One of the Empire ships fired a second wave, targeting the docking bays where the crew had stored emergency supplies. Lyra raised her hands, directing a controlled pulse of energy that deflected the attack. The beams bent harmlessly away. Crates and equipment hovered gently before settling back in place. The humans and aliens watching breathed relief. "We are doing it," Ethan said. "We can hold them." But the Empire was not finished. A massive flagship moved closer, firing multiple concentrated beams. The station trembled. Lyra's hands glowed bright, the energy inside her surging. She felt the fear rise sharply, threatening to overwhelm her control. "Look at me," Ethan shouted, grabbing her hands. "You are ready. Guide it. Do not fight it. Purpose, not fear." Lyra closed her eyes. She felt the calm spot Ethan had taught her. The fear was still there, but it was smaller, contained. She released a controlled wave of energy that struck the flagship's shields, bending and redirecting the beams harmlessly. Sparks flew, metal twisted slightly, but the ship could not penetrate. "Good, steady," Ethan encouraged. "You are stronger than fear. Control it." Lyra's silver eyes opened. She guided the energy with precision, striking multiple enemy ships simultaneously without causing destruction. The Empire fleet staggered under the unexpected resistance. Commanders signaled retreat, realizing the station and its defenders could not be destroyed without immense risk. Lucas shouted over the communicator. "They are pulling back. They do not expect this." Lyra felt exhaustion pressing on her. Her energy glowed faintly, the rest controlled and calm. She had used everything she had learned. She collapsed slightly and Ethan caught her, holding her steady. "You did it," he said softly. "You held them off. You protected everyone. See, your power is not a weapon." "It is a choice," she smiled weakly, tears on her cheeks. I controlled it. I did not destroy them." "Yes," Ethan said, "and you never will. You choose how to use it, and you are strong enough to make the right choice." The crew began repairs, tending minor damages, reinforcing shields, and checking for injuries. The Empire fleet had retreated to the system edge, leaving the station battered but intact. Hope filled the corridors as humans and aliens worked together to stabilize the station. Lyra sat quietly, exhausted but proud. She looked at Ethan. "They will return stronger. I must be ready." "And you will be," Ethan said. "We will train, prepare, and face them together. Your choice matters, and so does ours. We protect, not destroy." Over the next cycles, Lyra regained strength. She practiced controlling her power in small bursts, guiding energy with precision. Ethan stayed close, guiding her through every movement. Lucas and Emma helped with strategy, repairs, and training the crew. Everyone learned to trust her, and she learned to trust them. One evening, Lyra and Ethan stood at the viewport, watching the retreating Empire fleet. Stars stretched endlessly, quiet and calm. "Do you think they will come back?" Lyra asked softly. "Yes," Ethan said. "But next time we will be ready. You are ready. We are ready. Together we are stronger than fear or power alone." Lyra took a deep breath. She felt the energy inside her settle, no longer wild or frightening. Purpose and control flowed through her. She understood now that her power was not meant for destruction. It was a gift to protect and guide, to defend those who could not defend themselves. "Then I am ready," she said, looking at Ethan. "I will protect, not destroy. I will choose every time." "Good," he said, smiling. "And I will be here every step, every choice. Humans and aliens together can face anything." The Empire remained a threat, but Lyra and Ethan had proven that courage, trust, and careful control could turn fear into strength. The station was safe, the crew inspired, and a fragile hope grew stronger. The stars outside remained calm, but everyone knew the galaxy was full of danger. Lyra's secret power, once feared and hidden, had become a symbol of protection and trust. She had faced the impossible, learned control, and discovered that power guided by choice could change everything. As Lyra and Ethan stood together, looking toward the horizon, they understood the truth. The Empire could return, darkness could rise, but courage, trust, and careful choice could light the way for many worlds. And in that quiet moment, hope filled the hearts of humans and aliens alike. The station was safe, the Empire defeated for now, and Lyra's power had found its true purpose, to protect, to guide, and to inspire. The galaxy had changed, and so had they. Together, they could face anything.